Hello, 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 and I am back. I apologize for that. I have no idea what happened, but I was kicked offline for some reason. So I'm back, and I'm not really sure what you heard in the first the first try. So I'm gonna start over again. Tonight we'll be talking about latent DNA activation. At present, humanity has two-strand DNA in the cells of our body. Light, which is information, expresses through the medium of what we call consciousness, and that consciousness is encoded within DNA. I'll give examples of how there are additional strands, 10 additional strands, waiting to be activated for a total of 12. This pattern can be seen in the Zodiac and is also hidden in the Bible, and I'll explain that. Fully activated DNA, the power is mind-boggling. So get ready for an exciting, informative episode. I'll take a short break and allow listeners who want to join our live chat to do so. And I encourage everyone to, please. The more interaction we have, the better the show, the better the episode. The second and third hour, I'll take calls. Show line is 903-956-0055. Outside the U.S., just add 1 to that. 903-956-0055. And get ready, get ready, get ready. I'll be back in 3 minutes.
I don't cross my T's. I don't dot my I's. I won't say pretty please, or speaking little white lies. I've got a rebel soul. I've got a rebel soul. I've got a rebel soul.
And I am back. Okay, so in a world where we feel powerless, and many people do, they feel powerless, they feel weak, that they're weak, that they have no power, just that, they're just here along for the ride, and it seems like that the victim mentality permeates everyone more than the victor mentality, which is what we should have. And the fact is that, people talk about enlightenment, how they want to be enlightened, and like it's some kind of weekend process that you that you go through, and it's not. It's a lifelong process. And the reason that it's a lifelong process is because the power that we're talking about is so great that even if it was a college course, a PhD, it still would be a drop in the bucket. It would not be long enough to be entrusted with that kind of power. I mean, we're talking power that we can't even comprehend. And no one can comprehend it until they go through it. They experience it. And that's just it. It's not pleasant. Many people, they believe that it is something that is all hunky-dory, all pleasant, everything's great, and it's not. It's not pleasant. There's a price that we pay, that we must pay. Now, that's not to say that it's not worth it, but it's definitely something that many people, when they start out, excuse me, I've had a really bad case of bronchitis, and getting better though. So if I hit some high notes tonight, just forgive me. But that's just it. When they start out, hey Randy, thank you for joining me. It's just me right now. But when people first start out on the journey, is what I call it. They meet with tremendous opposition and obstacles, problems. Hey April, thank you for joining. With the journey to enlightenment, and I'm going to explain why that I'm talking about enlightenment in regards to activating your latent DNA, is that when people start out on the journey of enlightenment or waking up, using their real eyes to realize and see the truth. Yes. When that happens, when they start the journey, they meet with tremendous opposition. and obstacles. Trust me. Just now. This is, and I tell people this, I tell listeners this all the time. Every time that I begin a show, begin an episode, something always happens. Every time. Something technical, something, and tonight I was set. I mean, I had everything set up. And I'm in charge, right? Oh, man. It's feeling so good. It's like, wow. I'm going to be on time. This is going to be great. And I start, and I go for 2 minutes, and boom, I'm kicked off line for no reason. Nothing. So, used to, I would like lose it, just, But what does that tell you? Well, now I don't lose it. I'm used to it. So, I just messaged and said, hey, I got kicked off for no reason. I'll be back on in 5 minutes. And so that tells you that the obstacles and the opposition that you meet when you start your journey or you're on your journey to enlightenment, they're not there to set you back. They're not there to set you back. They're there to train you. Now, just like I said, I would lose it. I would just be, I'd just get so mad and so frustrated. It just happened, and I'm like, okay, well, used to that, so I'll just start over. Didn't even raise 1 point on the blood pressure meter, if I had one, to where a year ago, I would have blown mercury all over the room. I mean, I would just completely, I had everything set up. Everything was right. So, it only sets you back if you allow it to. And it has trained me, it has disciplined me to, hey, it's not the end of the world, And that's what it's all about. Hey, Patricia, glad you joined us. So that is power. It may not seem like it, but it's power. It's power to remain calm in the face of opposition, adversity. And the only thing is the only way to learn that is by the best teacher I know, and his name is Mr. Experience. Yes. 3 things on your path to enlightenment, on your path to knowledge, to light, which I've said before, light is knowledge. It's information. It's data. Darkness is lack of knowledge or lack of understanding. So when you start out, and yes, you're going to meet with that, but you let your light shine, and the darkness has to flee. The two cannot coexist. So, let me explain the show tonight. At present, humanity has 2-strand DNA in our cells. Light, information, expresses through the medium of what we call consciousness. And that consciousness is encoded within DNA. The positive negative polarities in light are comparable to the DNA and RNA, which could be described as the polarities of human consciousness. Now, I'll take that further. It could be described as right brain, left brain. It could be described as people that are, well, I think that it is, things that, people say, well, I'm manic depressive or I'm bipolar. And I say, you know what? That's just fine, because I believe that we all are to some extent. We're all bipolar. Everything, the earth itself, has a north pole, a south pole, a positive and a negative. If it didn't, it just wouldn't work. Same way with us. There has to be that duality. This is the reason that human consciousness goes from light to dark. Through the 12-strand DNA, through activating all 12 strands, 10 additional strands are activated in the body cells. So, when you think about that, it's mind-boggling, because it's the entire package. It is functioning at 100%. Let me see, Randy, you say, see, Shane, I've had things going on lately and getting so frustrated, emotional, pity party, because I've had to fight tooth and nail for everything while watching others get handed the exact thing I'm busting my butt for. Just wondering why I can't have something easy just once. Well, there you go. There you go. You're in the boot camp, and it sucks. It sucks. And, people, they somehow mistakenly think that I'm some kind of, things happen and I just sit in like Buddha or something, and I'm like, okay, so mote it be, or, whatever, and like I'm sitting on my pillow, like some guru. No! I mean, I'm punching holes in the wall, and I'm slamming doors, and I'm going, oh my God, why? So, not literally, but yeah, I do. I lose it. I mean, I'm like, wow. But there was a member, and I'm not going to name her name, but she, we talked for 6 to 8 months, and she was in a bad place, and she just she thought I was just absolutely fascinating, intriguing, and she thought that she said that she wanted to learn from me, and she wanted to move here. And so Mona and I talked, and we told her, well, you can move here and live with us until you get on your feet, and I would be happy to teach you things that I know or whatever. And so she moved here, and when she got here, I mean, after after everything was done, when she got here, she didn't want to learn anything. nothing. So I let it go for months, and then I just confronted her and I said, what's wrong? I said, because this is why you moved here. And I said, um, we have allowed you and your two children to live here for months before she even got a job, which was like 3 or 4 months. I said, we've allowed you to live here rent free. Didn't have to uh, pay for food or anything. I mean, we paid for everything. And I said, and you not wanting to learn, which is why you moved here. I said, it makes me feel like that you're using us. And I said, and that's not a good idea. I said, don't mistake my kindness for weakness, because that's just not it. And she it just, it got pretty bad. And she said she felt like she was being attacked, and I said no. And then things escalated. She got verbal, and then I told her to get out. I said, I don't need this. I said, you're in my house, you're in our house. And I said, she said, well, she says, when I moved here, she said, I thought that you had everything mastered. And I said, what? I said, I told you. I told her over and over and over. I said, I am not perfect. I said, I've got a list of flaws as long as my arm. I said, the only thing is I said, I don't hide it. I admit it. I embrace it. I'm a work in progress, just like anyone else. But for some reason, she thought that I was just some kind of superhuman, I mean, I am Superman, but I'm kidding. But, and one thing I would like to say to April is, you may hear me brag a lot of bravado, or, talk about things that, like laugh and make fun of serious things. But I only do that because it takes the sting, takes the power away from those things that make people feel uncomfortable and scare people. And when you're laughing about something, you can't very well be scared of it. So that's the only reason that I do it. And all the bravado and all that, that's just it. It's just to make you laugh, to lighten things, and but I don't want you to think that I'm some kind of arrogant jerk. I'm not. So, of course, anybody would say that, but you'll see. Anyway, so Patricia, you said it's very sweet of you guys for being willing to help her through her. Well, thank you. And I'm willing to help anyone like that. Absolutely. And then you say, may I ask how she wasn't willing to learn anything? Well, she was going to, she's going to join me on the podcasts. She was going to go with me when I counsel people, help people in person and online, video chat or whatever. And she when she moved here, when she got here, I kept waiting. It was like a week, and she she made no she made no she gave me no sign that she wanted to help or be a part or assist me in any way. And I'm not one to ask people or force people or guilt them into helping me with anything. If I have to do that, I would rather do it myself, which is what I did. But after a while, I finally I just confronted her, and she didn't like it. And I said, if that rubs your fur the wrong way, turn the cat around. It's not different folk. It's not different strokes for different folks. The way I am, it's the same for everyone. And maybe because I think she was 25, 26, whatever. Maybe because she was young and she thought that I would just let her slide with everything, and yeah, she was wrong. And I thought the world of her. I mean, I really did. And I would have done anything for her, and I did. I did do so much for her. I mean, Mona even told her, she said, God, she said, he's done more for you than anybody. And she says, and it's like you ignore him or you avoid him. And that's exactly what it was. And the way I am is, if someone doesn't want my presence, then they will experience my absence very quickly. So that's, enough of that. I mean, that's just, what happened. So anyway, you say, because honestly, that kind of behavior, regardless of misleading understanding, acts like that. Right. No one ever with any pathetic responses ever act like that. Right. Right. And with me, I mean, I will, I get mad just like everybody else. May, get into an argument with, someone. But at the same time, 5 minutes later, I'm fine. And I'm certainly not, I certainly don't hate the person. So just a misunderstanding or whatever. But I really felt used, and it's not a good feeling. But anyway, the additional DNA strands, the additional 10 DNA strands, are of magnetic, multidimensional nature and cannot be detected by present scientific equipment. Now, does that mean that it doesn't exist? Well, no, it doesn't. What it means is that it exists, but you just can't read it on a computer or any measurement device or whatever. But it does exist. So it exists in our spirit. In our spirit, which is the true us, true you. I've said this before, you're not your body, you're spirit. And your body is just the three-dimensional vehicle that you use to get around in this three-dimensional world. These additional DNA strands trigger the countless number of cellular activities necessary to change our dense physical carbon body into a physical etheric crystalline body and change our energy fields. Now, it's been said that DNA, even the two strands that we have, is made up of crystals. Yeah, spacesuit. That's a good one, Randy. I call it skin suit. Yeah, exactly. But this is, it's been said by supposed experts that 97% of our DNA is junk DNA. So I looked that up one day and really did a lot of research on that. And what I came to was that what happened is that these experts, these geneticists, and they couldn't understand the 97% of the DNA. So they just automatically said it's junk. It's useless. Well, just because you can't read something, just because you don't understand it, or you cannot understand it, doesn't make it junk. What I found is the more I looked, and could look for a lifetime, but the more I looked, I saw and picked up on patterns, different patterns, or if you want to call them blueprints, just over and over and over. And I'm thinking, this is not junk. This is not haphazard. This is not, there's something here. And for numerous people with awakened consciousness, this dormant DNA is considered as a living data storage container. Containers. Hey, Elaine. Glad you joined us. The instruction sets for our greater human potential. Now, what I'm talking about, this is something very much like the movie with Scarlett Johansson, Lucy. Now, it's not exactly like that, thank God, but where she takes the drug or whatever, and her brain capacity reaches 10%, 20%, and Morgan Freeman's in. They said, what happens when she reaches 100%? And I honestly do not know. As only Morgan Freeman can say. But it's something like that. And it's really, really something. So, what is coded within our secret vault of our latent DNA is a potential so vast that it boggles the human mind to think that something so profound could be so accessible. And you'll have to forgive me if I hit a few high notes tonight. I've had a really bad case of bronchitis, and but I'm recovering. I'm getting better, but this has been a rough year as far as that goes. So anyway, so now keep that in mind. Secret vault. What is coded within our secret vault, our latent DNA, is a potential so vast that it boggles the mind to think that something so profound could be so accessible. Okay, simply by shifting our perceptions, and this is what all the other podcasts, what everything I've said has led up to this, is I have said perception is everything. How you perceive things, what you perceive, and what you believe. That's it. And then what you conceive, and then perceive, and then believe. And then the last is going beyond believing into knowing. Now, what's the difference between believing, and knowing? People say, well, I believe I can do this. Okay. But when someone says, I know I can do it, there's no room for doubt. There's no room for skepticism, nothing. They're not going, when someone says, I believe I can, it's like saying, I'm going to try. I'm going to try my best. Well, you've already set yourself up for failure, because trying implies that you may fail. When someone says, I'm going to do it, there's no room for failure. And that's the key. Trying to do something often gets in the way. You start thinking about how you're going to do it, what could go wrong, and how it could fail. When, if you cut to the chase and you just do it, you don't have time for all those negative thoughts to come in your mind, because you're too busy doing the task at hand. Simply by shifting our perceptions, by coming into a new way to define our personal reality, we can override the carbon framework at the level of the nucleic acid bases in the DNA. Now, we can override the carbon framework, what we just said, the body, the skin suit, this material vehicle that our spirit uses to move around in this world. You are not your body, you are spirit. So, by defining our personal reality, by shifting our perceptions, we can override the carbon framework, which is the body. Now, carbon has how many protons, neutrons, and electrons? 6. 6 protons, 6 neutrons, 6 electrons. 666. So there's one explanation of the number of the beast, the dreaded number. It's simply, in this case, it's the beast, it's the body. And your body is at war with your spirit. Your body has desires and lusts that your spirit wants no part of. But there again, it's part of the boot camp, part of the training of your spirit to merge the two. Your heart, your spirit, you could say, is heaven, and your mind would be earth or hell even. So it would be exalting or raising heaven above earth or hell, raising your spirit above your mind, because for the most part, most people are led by their mind, by their body, by the lust of their body. So, yeah. So, that's it. Patricia, you say, random question, but did our spirits choose our bodies, or was it just by chance? Well, I don't think anything's by chance. I don't believe in coincidence. I believe in providence. Just like this junk DNA. That is absolutely asinine to say, oh yeah, well, it's just junk. It's, that's a mistake. No, there are no mistakes. Everything is the way it should be. Even when there's a so-called mistake, that mistake is there for a reason. So is it really a mistake? No. It's just part of the program. So, what is life? What is life? I view life as being an anagram of file. Life 101. It could be, the training, the test. It's a test. So everything that happens for a reason. And that reason is to refine you. To refine you. And how's precious metal refined? In fire, in the forge. It's beaten. It's, but the end result is a precious metal with no impurities. So, Trish, you say 666, the number of the beast. Sorry, as soon as you said 666, the song popped in my head. Yeah, well, there's a lot of things that have 666 now. I mean, it's just people, they see it and they're, oh wow, must be a Satanist or devil worshiper. No, maybe. I mean, I don't know, but the number doesn't bother me. I mean, it's the number of the beast, which is the primal lust of the human body, the human mind, not the spirit. So, Randy, you say, laugh out loud, yep, you're definitely part of my tribe. Are you talking to me, or because you are definitely part of my tribe, I know that. And then you say, as far as your spirit question, I've heard it explained that our spirit, we chose what lesson we want to learn from this life incarnation, so I think our body is part of what we choose for this life. Could be. Maybe. But when you get right down to it, it's like when we take a close look at the structure of the atom, well, 99.99% of the atom is empty space. I mean, think about that. It's empty. There's the proton, the electron, the neutron. moving at a high rate of speed, but that's what makes up the atom. So when we look at our bodies, or we choose, if we chose our bodies or whatever, the body really doesn't exist unless it's just like everything else. It doesn't exist until we observe it. What does that mean? It means that we create our reality. Einstein's theory of relativity, general theory, special theory of relativity, basically says that when something is not being observed, it really doesn't exist. So, yeah. So, I know what you're talking about as far as the body, but yeah, could be, but I think it's more of being placed into a training or whatever, designed to help us learn from our mistakes. Patricia, you say, now why in the hell would my spirit choose a body with depression? It's broken. I know it's probably the boot camp or whatever, but I don't think that's a lesson or necessary. Okay. Well, I suffered from depression from from age 13 to, I don't know, 35, 38, maybe even 40. And then something changed. And it was very strange, because what changed is my perception. So I'm not gonna be down in the dumps anymore. I'm just not. I'm not going to allow anyone to make me feel like I'm less, or that I'm not able. My motto became, I can and I will. Oh. And but yeah, Patricia, I want to talk to you later, if you're available, about your depression, about the depression, not your depression. Don't own it. But yes, a lot of people who are empaths, that are sensitive, especially Rh negative, people with Rh negative blood, it is common. Depression, anxiety, panic attacks, very much so. So, and then Randy, you say, it's all part of the lesson, I guess. My body's broken too, but there are others that are more broken than ours. Maybe to give us a different perspective somehow. Exactly right. Exactly right. And you say the comment about the tribe was to Patricia. I feel that you, Shane, are part of the tribe too. Just get a kick out of her knowledge of songs before her time. Right. And Elaine, yep. Depression can be attitude or chemical. But that's what we're talking about here, is overriding those chemicals, overriding the carbon framework, the physical framework with our spirit, with our with the light, which is again information, data, knowledge that is expressed through our body, and is held within our DNA. So leading scientists are proving that genes and DNA do not control our biology, that instead DNA is controlled by signals from outside the cell. This includes energetic messages emanating from our positive and negative thoughts. So, one thing that really is amazing is that I think it's like 5 years ago, and I have the article somewhere, articles, where they took a file, like a digital file, and they put it in DNA, and the DNA accepted it. The DNA accepted a computer file. Now let that sink in. So what they learned from that is that it can be programmed. It can be programmed by your thoughts, your intentions, your perception. And all that can be summed up in what you believe and what you don't believe. So, yes, that is amazing. DNA, you can Google it. It's amazing. Google programmable DNA, or is DNA programmable? Can it be programmed? The answer is yes. It can be programmed literally with computer files, data, or it can be programmed by your spirit. But going to take a quick break, and when I come back, I'm going to explain how the 10 strands are lost, but they can be found. And legend says that they will be found in a very veiled way that will blow your mind. I'll be back in 3 minutes.
Without any warning, we're sucking up the oxygen. The room is getting smaller. We always have it coming, like animals who like to bite, tasting our disaster. 20-something seconds go on and on. 20-something seconds go. I'm not ready for darkness. I'm not ready for darkness. I know we can do better. I'm not ready for darkness. If we promise to hold on and to never let go, I'm not ready for darkness. I'm not ready feeding on your triggered lies. My ignorance defines you. The roof is gonna cave in. Roaring with some dinosaurs. So caught up in the moment. 20-something seconds go. On and on. 20-something seconds go. I'm not ready for darkness. I'm not ready for darkness. I know we can do better. I'm not ready for darkness. If we promise to hold on and to never let go. I'm not ready for darkness. I'm not ready for darkness. Hey, 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 if we promise to hold on and to never let go, I'm not ready for darkness. I'm not ready for. I'm not ready for darkness. I'm not ready for darkness. I know we can do better. I'm not ready for darkness. If we promise to hold on and to never let go, I'm not ready for darkness. I'm not ready for darkness. Hey, 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 hey.
And I am back. Let me catch up on the chat here. Let's see, Elaine, you say, I have a work injury and it will bring my spirit down, gain weight, wipe out my finances, overwhelm me, learn how to walk again, and so it's starting over. So, like, what am I supposed to learn here? I haven't learned before. Hard to go back and look at the positive when there's so much pressure. Comes down to how do I cope? Well, I don't think you've coped. I think that you passed with flying colors and you overcame. You didn't cope. You went above and beyond. You knocked the ball out of the park. Give yourself some credit. Yeah. And that's probably what it was, is it happened just so you could overcome it. And look at what you learned. Look at how much stronger you are now. It's just like me with my fully detached retina, all the surgeries and everything that I had to go through, and then was told after my major surgery, eye surgery, that I had to lay on my side in bed for a month on my right side for the retina to reattach. So after that, I go back to the doctor and to the surgeon, and he says, okay, now you have to lay on the other side for another month. So two months in 2017, I was laying on my side. Well, I did it, and the retina reattached, and now everything's fine. But man, you talk about learning. That gave me a lot of time to learn. things, and I was stronger afterwards. It wasn't pleasant, but especially when they're putting needles in your eyes and in your eye and injecting gas bubbles and laser surgery, and oh man, it was something. But what we learn through our trials and tribulations and pain is amazing. Anyway, okay, let's see. So, when you think about your DNA and how it's, we all think about the double helix and how that intertwines and everything. And when you see the cauticus, the logo, symbol for the medical profession, those are two serpents going up the pole, which I believe is a symbol of not only consciousness rising, but also DNA, the DNA strands moving up. Now, when I say two serpents, serpents are, I'm not talking about evil serpents. Serpents are have been symbols of wisdom. Be as wise as serpents. So that DNA rising, bringing it up. So there's a positive and a negative to light. I mean, there's light, there's darkness, there's knowledge, there's lack of knowledge, there's DNA, there's RNA. The DNA is literally the first line. The RNA is the backup. It's the corrector. If there's a mistake made within the DNA, the RNA is there to correct it. And it's amazing how that works. It's just mind-boggling. So, okay. When we talk about our secret vault, or the secret vault, that is the 97% junk DNA that they say is junk, or latent DNA that hasn't been activated. Now think about all of the metaphors and allegories that have been in legend and talked about. The horn of plenty, the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, the Holy Grail. That's all talking about this latent DNA. That's all talking about this power house, this storage that everybody has access to. But people are like Jojo the circus monkey. They're running around. Oh, I'm going to find it. I'm going to find it. I'm going to find it outside myself. It can't be within me. Oh, I've got to go online and I've got to find it. I have to go to the bookstore. I have to get on Amazon. I have to find the right book. And I know I'm going to find the book. I'm going to find the book that's going to change my life, that's going to give me the secret. I'm going to go hear a speaker or guru or self-help king that's going to reveal the secret to me. And man, people have contacted me. One woman, I'm not going to name any names, I never do. One woman, 25, in the UK. Oh, I felt so sorry for her. She had spent like, $20,000 or more, just, wiped her savings out on going to people that told her, oh, I can help you find, reach your greatest potential. I find that power that you need, that secret vault, this blah, blah, blah. And I asked her, I said, and they charged you? And she said, yes. And I said, okay. Did it happen? Did you? She says, no. I said, it never does. I said, please. I said, when someone charges you or says, okay, well, I can help you, but there's a fee, turn around and walk away. No more. I said, because someone that truly wants to help you, they're not going to start out by saying, yeah, well, there's a fee, you have to pay me. That's not to say that that there are times when people charge for their time or whatever, but it's not like that they would charge these ungodly amounts. I'm talking, this was in person, and this was live chat also. When she contacted me, she asked me how much I charged. I said, I don't charge anything. She's, what? She couldn't believe it. I found out this woman was paying $450 an hour to some people. Whoa. Don't do that. That is, that's crazy. I mean, and so I talked to her and helped her and didn't charge her anything. I felt sorry for her and was very happy that I could help her. I told her, I said, keep your money to yourself. I said, build that back up and don't give it away, to these vultures. It's crazy. But it's also sad that people would use, people like that. Anyway. So, the secret vault, the Holy Grail, the Horn of Plenty, the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, everything like that is talking about this latent DNA. In my opinion, that's what I believe, is that it is talking about activating that DNA, that treasure trove of power. Now, I want to talk about in the Bible, and I'm not preaching. I just hear me out, because this is very, very important. So you'll see that the Bible is not to be not to be taken completely literally. There's a lot of metaphorical truth in the Bible. This is what I'm getting at. Is that in 930 BC, the 12 tribes of Israel, there was a split. And the split was between the two tribes, Judah and Benjamin. They set up the kingdom of Judah in the south. And the other 10 tribes of Israel, Asher, Dan, Ephraim, Gad, Issachar, Manasseh, Naphtali, Reuben, Simeon, and Zebulun, set up the kingdom of Israel in the north. These two tribes, Judah and Benjamin, have remained throughout history. But the 10 tribes of Israel that formed the kingdom of Israel in the north, they're the lost tribes. Now, I'll let you do the math on that. It's not talking about just literal tribes. It's talking about DNA. The two tribes that have remained, Judah and Benjamin, is the two-strand DNA that we have now. The 10 lost tribes that legend says will one day be found is the 10-strand latent DNA that it's not really lost. It's just latent. And when it is activated, it will be found. What does that mean? It means that the 12 tribes will be reunited again. What does that mean? What does that go back to? It means power. Right now, with the two-strand, not as powerful as it was with 12. So, that's really the meaning of the 10 lost tribes of Israel. And people are talking about, well, it's this group of people, it's this group of, it's this ethnic group, it's that. Come on. It's talking about the DNA within you and activating it so that the north and the south become one, reunited. Which is, again, it's very profound because the north is positive, south is negative. And that doesn't mean good, evil, good, bad. It's like a battery. When the positive and the negative are joined, you have power. It's like the earth, the North Pole, the South Pole. Which is why the Cauticus has the serpents going up the pole. There's a pole there. There's, and that's it. When you have Jacob in the Bible that dreams of a ladder going from heaven to earth and angels ascending and descending. He's not talking about a literal ladder. He's talking about the DNA. Talking about power, the DNA, the double helix. That's what he's talking about. That's what he saw. Jacob's ladder, DNA. So, that's when people say, well, if you're going to talk about the Bible, I'm out of here. Well, yeah, I don't talk about the Bible the way most people do. They talk about it in a literal way, which is very, very, well, I hate to say it, but it's boring because people say, well, it's unbelievable. It's like a fairy tale. Exactly. Does that mean that it's not powerful? Of course not. It's very powerful. You just have to know how to decipher what it's saying, what it means, just like the 2 tribes that have remained and the 10 lost tribes. Well, the 2 strands of DNA that have remained and the 10 that are dormant, or some would say lost. Okay, the bottom line is that your thoughts and your feelings directly affect your DNA. You program yourself. And that's what I'm saying, that's what I say all the time, is self-talk. Talk to yourself. I mean, really, really pump yourself up. And keep doing it. Keep doing it, even if, look at yourself and say, I'm pretty. I'm beautiful. Matter of fact, I'm gorgeous. Now, whether you believe you are or not, do it anyway. And get away from the thinking that it's somehow wrong or it's arrogant or... No, do it. Before long, you'll start exuding that. Not in a conceited way, but you believe it. It becomes truth. You see yourself as beautiful. And when you do, that's how others see you. Even if you pretend that you think you're attractive, or you pretend that you like yourself, but you really don't, people know. It can't be faked. But when you program your DNA with your thoughts, like I said, even if you have to pretend, even if you have to say it and you don't believe it, keep doing it, and then you'll find that you create it as truth. You make it. You create your reality. I can't emphasize that enough. Don't just say, okay, he said I create my reality. All right, well, okay. No, I mean, you really do. You really do. You are holding the pen. That pen is at the parchment. Whatever you write, whatever you say to yourself, will happen. Over time, it will happen. So, do the positive programming. And this is not rocket science. I mean, I know it may seem like it is, but it's not. It's so simple that people miss it. I know I did for years. But it's a form of, I'll put this, it's a form of pretending, or maybe a form of hypnotizing it's programming, okay? It's programming, plain and simple. You program your reality. And when you believe it, then your life begins to change. You become stronger. You become more confident. And the very strange thing is you don't know it. Other people do. And they point it out to you. Hey, you look different today. You've got a, you have a shine to you, a radiance. Okay, let's talk about that. Light expresses through the medium of what we call consciousness, and that consciousness is encoded within DNA. What is the light? Information. Data. What's used in programming? Data. Are you going to program your computer with positive or negative data? You going to send a swarm of viruses into your computer? I don't think so. So why do it to your DNA? It's your choice. But when you do that, the more you do that, that's what activates the 10 strands, the latent DNA. That's what activates that. And that's when the lost tribe the lost 10 tribes are found again or become active. And then, let's see. Positive shifts of perception and new feeling states trigger DNA activation. Positive shifts of perception and new states of feeling trigger DNA activation. Okay. Moreover, when we consciously engage with the living intelligence of DNA, it gets majorly stimulated and starts pushing out the greater potential that is held within the latent code. And that's just it. It's like the two mirror effect. And I'm not sure if you've heard of that, but look it up. You take two mirrors and you point them at each other, and it literally creates a field. Yes, two mirrors. This kind of gets into, well, never mind. It's but it when one mirror reflects the other, vice versa, the more it goes back and forth. We're talking about light, back and forth, and it becomes stronger and stronger and stronger. It's like two people who are in love. Okay? When you look at your mate, you say, "Wow, they're radiant, they're beautiful, they're," and they say the same about you. But what you're really looking at is you're looking at the reflection of yourself. You're looking at the light, at the love. That's the data that you're giving, that you're projecting to them. And they're like a mirror. They're reflecting it back to you. And you're mistaking it as it being them. And they do the same thing with you. But the two mesh, the two become one. And the more reflection that takes place, the more powerful, the stronger the connection. And it just grows and grows and grows and magnifies. And that's the definition of love. I mean, I can't think of a better one. Yes, exactly. So it is definitely doing that with yourself, because you can't project that love and that power to anyone else until you first harbor it yourself. Love yourself. Know yourself. You can't know anyone else unless you know yourself. So, when we consciously engage with the living intelligence of DNA, and I'm saying talk to it. Talk to yourself. Self-talk. Not just, oh, okay, I'm gonna meditate and I'm gonna do what Dr. Feelgood says on YouTube and this and that. No, I mean really get down and talk to it. Talk to yourself. Save YouTube for when you're resting or whatever. Get down with it. I mean, enough is enough. You felt weak. You felt powerless. You have felt like you're not able enough, or you could be better, or whatever. It's time that you take action and make it happen. And the way to do that is by programming. You're the programmer. And don't just think it. Don't just say it in your mind. The spoken word, when you speak, there's tremendous power in the spoken word. Speak it. Speak it over and over and over. And the way to activate the latent DNA is by, one very important way, is by vibration, frequency, which is what the spoken word has. It has a certain vibration, a certain frequency that your DNA is, Your voice is very familiar. Your DNA knows it. So if anybody's going to activate it, it's not going to be somebody else. It's going to be you. You're the programmer. What does that mean? You're the creator. Just as we are merely sequences of a 4-letter code, ATCG, the basis of life is very simple. We change and transform all the time. We are constantly redefining ourselves. From every one of these conscious shifts, we are literally changing our code. See, Elaine, you says, comes down to how do I cope? It could be, how about, comes down to how do I code? Change the P in cope to a D. How do I code? Yes, exactly. How do you program? How do you code your DNA, yourself? Scientists have proven that DNA can be reprogrammed by words and frequencies. This breakthrough research and discoveries have bridged quantum physics with cellular biology and the communication of DNA through mind and matter. We have the ability to change in the wink of an eye if we can truly grasp these ideas and start acting from the full knowing of our higher capabilities. Now that's just it. Is we have to oh wow, my chat wasn't working, so well, I missed a lot here, but anyway, okay. Yes, thank you, Patricia. So, all right. Yes, just like babies, they take in everything, address the behavior, not the person. Your perception is your reality. That's right. So it says, we have the ability to change in the wink of an eye if we can truly grasp these ideas and start acting from the full knowing of our higher capabilities. What's that saying? It's saying that the truth you know will set you free. The truth you know will empower you. Because if you don't know it, if you don't understand it, then it very well, it's not going to work for you very well. So, and it takes time because we have to unlearn what we've been indoctrinated with. We have to be educated instead of indoctrinated. We have to unlearn what we think we know and learn truth. And when we know it, then that's when the change happens, or the change begins to happen. Our DNA programs are like snakes shedding old skins. We are constantly releasing old encodings. Now get that. Our DNA programs are like snakes shedding old skins. What did Jesus say when he said, talking about the old wineskins? He says, I can't put this knowledge, this my spirit, in old wineskins because they'll burst. He says this spirit, this knowledge, has to go into new wineskins that won't burst. What does that mean? It means you have to change your way of thinking. You have to reprogram so you can handle the power, the true power. And that's what he was talking about. He wasn't talking about wine. He was talking about wine as in the programming, the real power, the full power. It says we are constantly releasing old encodings. These encodings are merely stored impressions that can be reprogrammed. As we shift our perceptions, cellular biology changes. Our vibration increases and the DNA base letters rearrange. Now this is just a thought. When our vibration increases to a certain point and the DNA base letters rearrange, if that's so, and it is, then that means that if the base letters can rearrange in our DNA, then that is the meaning, that is the definition of miracles and healing. Physician, heal thyself. Yes. So you're probably saying, man, is he saying that, like if I had cancer, I could heal myself? Exactly. Exactly. Could I heal others? Well, it depends on them. But yes, theoretically, yes. When my vibration, I'm just using this as an example. When my vibration is at a certain level and I'm with you, let's say you're sick or something, and my vibration is high and yours is low. When I am with you, your vibration will resonate with my vibration to a certain extent. But with the reprogramming in this vibration at a higher rate, then there would be nothing that would prevent my vibration from raising your vibration to the same level through resonance, kind of like that mirror effect. And then once you believe, once you know that it's possible and that it will happen, it will happen. I mean, after all, I'll read that again. Our vibration increases and the DNA base letters rearrange. What is sickness? What is cancer? What is disease? It is the base letters of DNA. It's the wrong code. It's a disruption in the code. So, having said that, it would be possible to correct those letters in the correct sequence. And so, yes, very, very powerful. Everything on the planet is in great change. Electromagnetic currents are altering, the magnetic fields are shifting. Many things are no longer being held down in their familiar place. We are getting unlocked. This brings tremendous change to the biological body and the entire structure of our DNA encodement. It is these additional strands of DNA that trigger the change of our total being that will carry us into possibilities and worlds that we can't even imagine. This is the reason we have said that the DNA and the RNA are communication systems, and they are. Your DNA, as I said, is made up of tiny, tiny crystals, crystalline structure. So, excuse me, that's where our bio frequency, our very own bio life frequency comes from. And it's like your fingerprint. Everyone has their own distinct bio frequency, and it comes from your DNA. Your DNA is an antenna. It projects, but it also receives. So it would be as if DNA is the link to the higher self and the soul, and the RNA would be the soul's response. Through this DNA upgrade process, awareness is brought into the consciousness and intention is set into motion. To strengthen the connection to your higher self, new attributes will be employed. You are in the process of changing a critical part of the biology known to you as DNA. This new template allows you to walk in full unison with your higher self in every moment. Wow. That's powerful. I mean, it's very powerful. You can refer to it as retraining the brain, I say reprogramming, the brain, heart, and mind, and deleting old programs of limitation. Change impossible to I'm possible. Literally. Expanding your being into the unlimited field of possibility. You know, if the current equation isn't working for you, I'm saying change it. As I said, you have the pen. It's at the parchment. Make a new equation. You're in charge. You're the one writing this script that we call life. Why have you been told and programmed your entire life that, well, just go with the flow? Why have you been indoctrinated with the victim mentality? Because the powers that be, they don't want you to know, they don't want you to activate this latent DNA, because they know what that would mean. They wouldn't be the only ones that have that power. They wouldn't be the only ones in possession of the Holy Grail. Right? Now, another thing that proves this is, as I've said before, and I'll say it again, these online DNA testing places, they send in your DNA and we'll send you back information on your DNA. Well, there's been some of these that have been found out to be government agency fronts, and they were giving people's DNA samples to various lettered government agencies, and what it was just a front. So the government, powers that be, they want your DNA. People say, well, they've already got it. When you're born, they take it. Well, that's true. Yep, got me there. Not. Truth is they do. When you're born, they take a blood sample, aka DNA sample, and they've got it. The reason they want your DNA now is so they can compare it to when you were born to see if you have activated any latent DNA. And if you have, then you're going to have their attention. They don't want you activating it. They don't want you activating any of the latent DNA. Certainly not 10 strands. Well, I mean, if you've activated 10%, would probably put you on the radar forever. But think about if you activated, 50, 60, 70, 80%. Yeah. But don't worry, because there will be nothing to fear. That is true power. I mean, real power, unimaginable power. So, what are we talking about? We're talking about you as the integrated creator of your reality, of your holographic simulated reality, if you want to, if you can accept that, or if you want to believe that, it's fine. Because truth is that's what I believe. I believe that this is a test. This is a simulation. It is an exercise. And it is a script. Just like Jesus said, it is written. It is written. It is written. He says, not one jot or one tittle from what is written will fail to take place. Okay, I take that this is the most incredible screenplay that has ever been written. And just like Shakespeare said, the world is a stage and we are merely players or actors. Yeah. Hello, Sims. Yes. So, if it is a simulation, does that mean that nothing matters? Of course not. It's a test. It is a test to refine us. People say, well, with everything going on in the world, I just want to give up. Don't do that. Don't give up. You'll fail the test. Excel. I mean, come on. Stand up. Speak up. speak out, stand out. Yes, be all that you can be. Anyway, I'm going to take another break. When I come back, I will talk about and explain the effects of the DNA upgrades. Be right back.
I try to figure out who I am. Not sure what I'm doing here. And the days don't work out the way I thought they would. And before you there was no one who understood. Never found somewhere I fit in. Until I met you I was feeling lost. But you're the one who can make it go away. All you have to do is look at me. Sometimes I can't breathe, but it feels like you're the one who saves me. When I try, but don't succeed. Yeah, it feels like you're the one who saves me. The one who saves me.
I'm trying my best to hold on. It's not easy, but I'm feeling stronger with you. And the days don't work out the way I thought they would. And before you there was no one who understood.
Sometimes I can't see, but it feels like you're the one who saves me. When I try, but don't succeed. Yeah, it feels like you're the one who saves me. The one who saves me.
I'll give you my everything. It's not much, but it's all I have.
You know we could run to a place where we belong, but I need you there with me to go on. Sometimes I can't see, but it feels like you're the one who saves me. When I try, but don't succeed. Yeah, it feels like you're the one who saves me. The one who saves me. No, I can't get enough of what you do. The one who saves me. Yeah, it feels like you're the one who saves me. The one who saves me.
Okay, and I'm back. All right. Anyway. Okay, if you have any questions or you want to make any comments, feel free to do so. Also, you can call in 903-956-0055. Outside the U.S., just add a 1 to that. I'd be glad to talk to you Your questions, comments, personal experiences. Maybe you've had the some experience with this this activation. Excuse me. It can certainly be when you begin activating the latent DNA. It's not what you would call normal. It would be it varies. It can be strange. It can be misconstrued as paranormal. From people having visions or seeing things that they're not sure if it's there or not. Think that they may be hallucinating or whatever. But the proof that it's happened is in the change, the change within themselves, their core, their very personality changes for the better. Effects of DNA upgrades. Opens the crystalline seals and switch on the dormant DNA. Overriding limiting memory fields housed within the body. These would be patterns of belief systems or what you've been subjected to. Much of this would be considered, or very much like, I suppose, how MK Ultra mind control has been described. Once you go through things, repetition, systematic, such as systematic sensory overload or systematic abuse, or your body begins to acclimate to that or whatever, and your body houses that stimuli, houses that information. Well, it's a known fact that when your body is in a certain state, either it be relaxation or a state of fear, pain, pleasure, that you're more susceptible to programming. Is that a form of hypnosis? Well, I think it could be considered a form of hypnosis, but it's more like programming, literally, which is what MK Ultra was based on. Yes, muscle memory, absolutely. And that's something that I believe everyone should do research on and study. Study the MK Ultra mind control techniques, and you'll see how it's used a lot in the media today. In the media, in just about everything that you it is used. And also look up neuro-linguistic programming, NLP for short, which is a very powerful method of hypnosis, and it is very effective. What is used for NLP? The spoken word. Someone that is very skilled in NLP, such as the guy in the UK, Darren Brown. Yeah, Darren Brown. He's probably the best neuro-linguistic programming expert in the world today. I mean, the guy can walk up to a total stranger and shake his hand, and 10 seconds later, the guy gives him his wallet. Just gives it to him. That's powerful. Of course, I mean, he doesn't keep the wallet, but he look up Darren Brown, and you'll see what I'm talking about. What I like about Darren Brown is he explains how it's done. Why? Because he knows how it's used against people, and he doesn't like it. So he wants everyone to know how it's used by those who would take your wallet and keep it. And more than that, also he can, there's people that he does all kinds of things, but he can look into a person's eyes, and one man, this big biker guy, Darren Brown's a little guy, and Darren Brown, they having some kind of staring contest or whatever. Well, Darren Brown, this big biker guy had to just back off because Darren Brown was projecting anger to this man. And this man said, hey, I don't know what happened. He says, but I was boiling. He was so angry he started crying. That's when Darren Brown stopped what he was doing, I don't think he meant to really do that, but wow. I mean, it was very, very intense. Yeah, I mean, the guy got so mad he was crying. And they asked him, what happened, and he says, and I have no idea. He said, I just became enraged. And so I was thinking, man, is Darren Brown like the devil on earth? I'm kidding, but that's just it. It is the projection of your vibration that you have in your DNA is very powerful. It's very real. I mean, it can't be measured. I mean, it can't be like you go to a like there's some machine or something that can measure the power of your genetic vibration, but it is real. It's very real. It's very powerful. And many people, they use it and they don't even realize they're using it. Go figure. It's like It's like I've had people tell me that they, I had some people say, well, I just felt drawn to you, which is nice. That's a lot better than I've heard people say, I hate you and I don't know why. Well, I'm glad you don't know why, because I've had people tell me why, and so it's better to just not know. But thanks. But so there are people who have activated some of their latent DNA, and they don't even realize it. They don't have a clue, but they have. So maybe if you're one of those people and you're listening to this and you're wondering, okay, why did everything change? You know, I was blessed, or I just received this power. You just didn't receive it. You just didn't. You're the one that activated it. And if you didn't know, you know now. So keep doing it and activate more of it. And it will all come in time. It will all come in time. It's like I said at the beginning of the show, of this episode, is that people nowadays, they want everything now, right now. They want to. We talk about enlightenment, or raising your consciousness, or reprogramming. Okay, can I do that like on a weekend retreat? Or better yet, can I do that, online with maybe an hour or 2 hour course, No. No, it takes time, and it happens when it happens. And if you try to rush it or you try to force it, it stops. And I'm not talking bad about these people that want it now. I mean, look at how we've been trained. We have fast food, we have microwave, everything is boom, boom, boom. We want it, we've got it. There's no wait time. There's no wait time, and sometimes there's very little that we really have to do, but not with this. This you have to do all the work yourself. And people are looking for shortcuts, looking for some teacher that will say, okay, I'll do this, I'll do that, and I'll teach you how to do it quicker, and when we're done, I'll give you your certificate of enlightenment. It doesn't work that way. No. There's no spiritual teacher that worth anything that is going to do anything like that. The best spiritual teacher, as far as this is concerned, will tell you, you do the work yourself. If you have problems or you have questions, then come to me and I'll answer them. But you do everything yourself. Do all the work yourself. And there's many out there who are looking for the quick fix, and they'll do anything to get it. So stay away from any supposed teacher that offers that, because it's not true. Okay. Effects of DNA upgrades continued. Raise your vibration into the new bliss blueprint, which would be a new level of happiness and empowerment. It's a template. It's a blueprint pattern. One that when you're in it, you'll somehow recognize it. I don't know exactly how that works, although I do believe in genetic memory, so maybe that explains it. Reprogram, rebalance, and restore cell function. Now, we were talking about healing. Reprogram, rebalance, and restore cell function. That's amazing. Okay. Sorry about that. I'm drinking tea with honey in it, so you could hear me gulping, I'm sure. I apologize. Anyway, moving on. Gain energy, clarity, and body alignment. Can we say gain energy? Oh, people message me all the time. They contact me and they say, "Oh, I'm so tired all the time." You know what? Me too. Don't think that I'm bouncing off the walls. I don't know what it is this year. I mean, maybe you've had the same thing, but this year has really been, it's not been a good year as far as energy. Last year, I was bouncing off the walls, with energy. This year, whoa, it's like somebody pulled the plug. Man, just fatigue. I can sleep for 12 hours and wake up and it's like I haven't slept at all. I don't know. If you're experiencing that, or you've gone through that, or going through it, message me and let me know your things about that, because that would be a very good topic to discuss, is why are so many people without energy and nothing helps. It's just it's very, very strange. But clarity is another thing that is needed, very much so. Build stronger neurological circuitry to hold more light. That sounds very much like a computer upgrade. Build stronger neurological circuitry to hold more light. Crystallize the vibrational templates of higher evolution. Okay. Improve manifestation of your preferred reality. It'd be like, I don't know. It's like we're shopping for a new computer, a better computer, and looking for new real estate to put it on. Very strange, but very intriguing. Open more channels for higher self-embodiment. And then lastly, bring forth unrealized talents and abilities. Bring forth unrealized talents and abilities. Unrealized, which means that chances are if you don't notice them, others will. They'll have to point them out to you and say, hey, you know, this, when did you learn that? And, well, I didn't. I mean, just kind of came to me. Very strange. Very strange, but very promising, very comforting to know that this is possible, and it can happen. We receive light in our pineal gland. You know, I mean, third eye, whatever. You know, people talked about that. Pineal gland, when we sleep, it actually lights up. It lights up. It receives light, and I don't know. When we sleep, we're supposed to sleep in complete darkness because that's best for the pineal gland as far as the it functioning properly. It is like a receptor prism of the light language that carries instructions to the body cells about changing the physical body into a physical, etheric light body. Okay. Basically, it's the what I was going to say is it receives light and it radiates light. It produces light. So, again, light as in information, data. So that does make sense. It would be the plug-in, the jack to directly to our DNA, because it's the organ itself has to do with bioluminescence. I mean, it's just that it is light. It has to do with light, information, data, and I haven't really researched that much, but I do know that much, and it makes sense. Very interesting. Through massive light absorption, our cells remember their divine perfection and vibrate in absolute oneness with the source, with the creator, with the programmer, if you want to. So that would be, for me, that would be heaven. You know, heaven as a state of mind. Perfect vibration. Absolute oneness. Sounds good. And then we the the heart is another part excuse me, another part of the 10 strands, the heart chakra. And the heart is has so much more power than or is more powerful than the brain. It is incredibly powerful. Matter of fact, the heart is about 100,000 times stronger electrically and up to 5,000 times stronger magnetically than the brain. So, that's amazing. I mean, that is really 100,000 times stronger, more powerful electrically than the brain. It's a lot of power. And that's what the one of that 10 strand, the latent DNA, has to do with. So this means the information we access through our pineal gland is expressed through action in a loving, heartfelt way. We have the ability to heal ourselves and others spontaneously and instantaneously as divine love and truth radiate from our every cell. So, it is a lot of possibilities, a lot of potential, a lot of new abilities. We can remember how to control the spin of our electrons. This activates super abilities such as telecommunication, astral travel, lucid dreaming, levitating, and this says bilocation. I don't know if I agree with all that, but it definitely explains a lot of miracles or miraculous things that we've all read about and wondered how that was possible. Well, maybe this explains it. And then it just goes on and on and on. But the main thing is to know, not just think or not just believe, but to know that it is possible, and to begin reprogramming your very DNA. Again, it's been proven that it can be programmed literally with actual computer files and by your spoken words and thoughts, positive or negative, and choose positive. Definitely. Anyway, any questions, any comments, please, if you have questions or comments, or would like to suggest a topic for another episode, please contact me at thetexturcistpodcast@gmail.com. I'll be happy to hear what topics that you would like to hear discussed. And anyway, I'm going to call it a night here. And please tune in tomorrow night, same time, 11 p.m. Central. And we'll have another episode of The Texturcist Live. And I'm going to call it a night. And love and light to you all. Love you all. Thank you all who took part in the live chat. Thank you all who listened and didn't take part. And thank you all who are listening to the rebroadcast. Good night from Texas. See you next time.